Let's dive into an alarming incident involving 22-year-old Dylan Punt in Keller, Texas, as he was en route to his grandmother's house. Dylan's encounter with the police began when he was pulled over for making a wide right turn. Body camera footage reveals Sergeant Blake Shemanek instructing Dylan to step out of the car and subsequently placing him in handcuffs, citing his behavior as suspicious. Sergeant Shemanek later justified detaining Dylan by expressing concerns for his own safety during the routine traffic stop. As this unfolded, Dylan's father, Marco, arrived at the scene and stopped his car across the street. The sergeant threatened to arrest Marco for blocking the road unless he parked and exited the vehicle. Marco complied with the command and began filming his son's arrest. However, this did not sit well with Sergeant Shemanek, who ordered his colleague to arrest Marco for allegedly obstructing the roadway. Chaos ensued as the officers attempted to restrain Marco, deploying pepper spray and even attempting to confiscate his phone. The intensity of the situation escalated rapidly. Amidst the turmoil, Marco voiced his disbelief, describing the unfolding events as a total fiasco. The officer's conduct spiraled out of control, exhibiting excessive use of force and disregard for appropriate protocol. Eventually, Dylan paid the ticket for his wide turn. However, the leadership of the Keller Police Department deemed the use of force and the arrest of Marco Punt inappropriate. An internal affairs review uncovered misconduct, resulting in Sergeant Shemanek's demotion from the rank of sergeant to officer. According to a news report, a Federal Heights police officer was fired after video footage from a body camera showed him assaulting a suspect who was already in custody. The officer, Mike Magnus, pleaded guilty to assault charges. The video, which was approximately 9 minutes long, captured Officer Magnus slamming the suspect into a refrigerator and later engaging in a physical altercation with him. While Officer Magnus was terminated for significant policy violations, the report mentions that another officer who was present in the video was disciplined but remains on the job. The police chief, Carl Williams, did not appear on camera but confirmed that Officer Magnus was fired on December 29th. The police launched an investigation after employees reported the incident. It is noted that this is not the first time Officer Magnus has faced charges of excessive force. In 2009, he pleaded guilty after a man accused him of throwing him to the ground and breaking his arm. The report highlights the concern of individuals who recall previous incidents involving Officer Magnus and question why he was allowed to remain on the job. The police chief, who was not in office during the time of these incidents, was unable to provide specific details about the 2009 case and expressed uncertainty as to why Officer Magnus was not fired at that time. On June 21, 2021, a convenience store manager placed a call to the police, reporting a man panhandling at the establishment. Officer Matthew Cavender and his partner responded to the scene, where they encountered 64-year-old Timothy Grant in a wheelchair. Running his name through their system, they discovered that he had 5 active warrants, prompting them to proceed with his arrest. During the arrest, a struggle ensued, primarily due to the fact that Timothy was in a wheelchair. It is important to note that he did not exhibit violent behavior. Shockingly, Officer Cavender deployed his taser, not once but 4 times, while Timothy was on the ground. The St. Petersburg Police Department's chief, Anthony Holloway, expressed strong disapproval of this use of force, deeming it unnecessary and uncalled for. Chief Holloway emphasized that the taser should not have been the officer's first choice of action. Consequently, Officer Cavender was terminated from his position within the department. Metro Nashville Police decommissioned 3 officers after they executed a search warrant at the wrong home, causing distress to an innocent family. In the video footage of the incident, it is clear that the officers forcefully entered the home within seconds of their warnings, despite the woman inside asking them to wait. The police chief, John Drake, acknowledged the department's mistake and expressed his disturbance over the incident, stating that the officers had the wrong address and that the actions were unacceptable. Chief Drake admitted that the warrant was unrelated to a violent crime and that the officers should have allowed more time for the woman to respond. He emphasized that there was no urgency to enter the home so quickly. The mother, Azaria Hines, expressed her anger and fear over the incident, especially because it involved her children being woken up by officers with rifles. The Midtown Hills precinct commander visited the family's home to apologize, but Hines mentioned that she is still not completely satisfied and expressed her concern over such incidents leading to tragic consequences. She made it clear that they are not blaming anyone else but the Metropolitan National Police Department, calling for better practices and accountability. The decommissioning of the 3 officers shows that the department is taking action to address the incident and ensure that such mistakes are not repeated in the future. Prepare yourself for a deeply disturbing incident that unfolded in Fort Worth, Texas, involving a woman named Jacqueline Craig. Seeking assistance, she called the police after her neighbor had choked her 7-year-old son for littering. Little did she know that her call for help would result in harassment by the very officers meant to protect and serve. The video captures a police officer asking Jacqueline why she didn't teach her son not to litter. In response, she passionately asserts that regardless of her son's actions, it does not justify the neighbor's use of force. As tensions rise, the officer, displaying an arrogant demeanor, questions Jacqueline's loud tone and warns her not to provoke him. At this critical juncture, Jacqueline's 15-year-old daughter steps forward, interposing herself between the officer and her mother. Tragically, the situation escalates rapidly as the officer loses control. He aggressively pushes the girl, draws his taser, and forces Jacqueline to the ground. The precise use of the taser remains unclear. Subsequently, he proceeds to arrest Jacqueline, her daughter, and the individual recording the video, charging them with resisting arrest. Fortunately, accountability is not absent from this narrative. The Fort Worth police took action by placing the officer on restricted duty, and he ultimately faced a 10-day suspension. Meanwhile, Jacqueline filed a lawsuit against the city of Fort Worth, seeking justice for the trauma inflicted upon. Notably, in August 2020, the city agreed to pay Jacqueline $150,000 pending council approval, acknowledging the grave nature of the incident. If you found this video engaging and thought-provoking, we kindly ask you to show your support by giving it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more captivating police encounters and court stories. By clicking the bell icon, you'll stay up to date and never miss any of our future content. Thank you for being a part of our community. Until next time, take care and stay informed.